Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. With your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's been so long since I've tussled with the Perth Mint. The most pathetic organization. I remember when I was a broker. I was a broker for a while, trading in computer equipment, large VAX machines. This is back in the 80s and 90s. That's how old I am. And I was a broker of used equipment for a company called GE Capital, their computer leasing division. And I remember every time my boss opened his mouth about what was going on the brokerage side, because, you know, when you have a lot of inventory, I had like 3,000 PCs at the time I was trying to get rid of, huge VAX machines, the Digital Equipment Corporation machines, gigantic. This is back when computer equipment was really valuable. Like millions of dollars was moving. And every time my boss opened his mouth in public and would talk to reporters or whatever he was doing, he would always give away my position. I would say, "What are you doing? Shut up. Do not say a word. We can't tell everybody we have 3,000 PCs in our inventory or it'll crush the price." Perth Mint. The Perth Mint is in such a panic, they had to drag out the CEO, a guy named Richard Hayes. The CEO of the Perth Mint had to be dragged out onto a radio station to tell everybody, to beg everybody, don't buy silver. We're running out of silver. Don't buy any silver. Of course, he said it in the opposite ways. Oh, there's silver all over the place. Don't worry about it. But he's begging people not to buy it. These Reddit guys. I'm going to play the interview. I'm going to stop at certain points during it. But okay, let's just say it is Reddit. It's not Reddit. I'll guarantee you that. It's not the Reddit folks doing this. The Reddit guys have nothing to do with the COMEX, and that is where the price of silver is set. The volumes are set. The deliveries happen along with SLV. The Reddit guys are not taking delivery of 50,000 shares of SLV, taking delivery of the silver, although they could. The big ones. So it's not Reddit. But let's just say it is Reddit. That's who the criminal cabal of silver riggers is blaming, is Reddit. This guy is just a piece of work. This is one of the largest retailers, if not the largest retailer other than the U.S. Mint, of silver. Silver coins, silver bars, silver 1,000-ounce bars. You will be shocked at what he says. First of all, let's see what has happened since the Reddit people have attacked the price of silver. And basically, silver has disappeared from the retail side over the last 2 months. Here it is. The silver price has gone down. You're like, wait a minute. How could that be? They can set the price of silver to zero with the click of a mouse. The price of silver is rigged every day on the COMEX, and it has been since Alan Greenspan invented the first computer programs to do it back in the 60s and 70s. I hope everybody understands that. We saw oil go to negative $40. How is that possible? It's a click of a mouse. Who went to jail? Nobody. That's the way the game is played in the United States of America. But it's also the United States of America that can end the game. No, China's not in charge. No, Russia's not in charge. No, the Queen of England is not in charge. The Rothschilds are not in charge. The Warburgs are not in charge. The aliens are not in charge. The U.S. government can end manipulation tomorrow. How? By removing themselves from the market. All you do is take out the Exchange Stabilization Fund and say, stand down. Boom. It's over. Everything collapses. That's how fragile a system that was built on these computer lies, basically by Alan Greenspan, the guy who invented electronic money back in the 1970s. Yes, he invented electronic computer money. I hope everybody understands that. He was the world's best computer programmer from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Alan Greenspan, can you believe it? He's the guy who put only 2 digits in the code for the year, which screwed up the Y2K stuff. And those of you who weren't involved back then, I was involved actually. And I was working at GE and we had to change out all our systems. That was the key. 2 years prior, the alert went out and everybody changed out their systems. That's the only reason it didn't cause massive chaos. is because everybody changed out their systems and changed it to 4 digits instead of 2 for the year. Huge mistake. But Greenspan didn't know his computer programs would flourish into the electronic money we know of today. Electronic money, 100% riggable. The Fed is creating so much money behind the scenes to cover up all these problems. They don't tell you. Any country can do that. What's the difference between $100 million and $1 billion in a computer monetary system? It's one little zero at the end. Boom. How about $100 trillion to a quadrillion dollars? One little zero at the end. Once you get your head around it, you're like, oh my God, I better get myself some silver, get it into my own hands now. The amount of silver traded is ridiculous. So, yes, it can be rigged every moment of every day, and it is. And that will end very soon. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. The Perth Mint. The Perth Mint is struggling so hard to find silver anywhere they can, they had to drag out the CEO to do an interview. Now, yesterday I did a sit down with Andy Schectman. We sat for 45 minutes talking about how bullish everything is of silver. His job is the silver industry. He wants silver to do well. Anybody in the industry selling silver should want the price of silver to rise, but the CEO of the Perth Mint wants the exact opposite. He wants the price of silver to crash. He wants to tell the world, do not buy silver. It is shocking. It really is shocking. And then he lets out some real gems, such as, one, he basically begs, in this interview, he begs people, begs them not to buy silver. Please, whatever you do, don't buy silver. And then he says there's only 60 tons left at the Perth Mint, as if it's a big thing. Oh, we have 60 tons of silver. 60 tons of silver is 1.9 million ounces of silver. I have friends who can buy that silver. That's less than $50 million worth of silver. I wish they were better friends because they got so much money. But I have friends who could buy all the silver in the Perth Mint. And the Perth Mint is one of the very top retail sellers of silver. And, oh, by the way, a huge supplier of 1,000-ounce bars. He says in this interview that you can walk into the Perth Mint and lay down $24,000 and walk away with a 1,000-ounce bar of silver. I think everybody in Australia, everybody around the world would be just dying to do that. Goldman Sachs, hey, Jeff Curry, you criminal bastard, why don't you call up the Perth Mint and say, hey, I just heard the CEO said I can buy as many 1,000-ounce bars as I want for $24,000. Bravo. And there's no fabrication lead time on 1,000-ounce bars because they're already fabricated. And anybody who has problems with shipping and it says, oh, it's going to take a month to ship it, I'll go pick it up. I'll go pick it up at the site. That's all you have to say. Rent a jet, a heavy lift jet. Go down there. Trump, hey, Trump, go down to Perth Mint and load up your jet. Load up your aircraft, your huge Boeing 737 or whatever you have, with 1,000-ounce bars of silver. There you go. Lead time is gone. Okay, I'm going to play this. Now remember, contrast this to my interview yesterday with Andy Schectman of Miles Franklin. Great guy, great discussion. But Andy is very pro-silver. He knows it's rigged. He's been in the industry longer than this dude. I think Richard Hayes, I've even been in the industry just about as long as Richard Hayes, the CEO of the Perth Mint. We know it's rigged. And if he doesn't understand how it's rigged, that's part of the problem of the silver industry. Those who are charged with participating allow the rigging either because they're too stupid or too corrupt. Richard Hayes is too corrupt, but he's too stupid as that he's talking his book. I want you to listen to this interview. It really shocked me to the core, and it basically it's him screaming, "Do not buy physical silver, whatever you do." Check this out. Remember, Andy Schectman was like, "Buy as much silver as you can while you can. It's my business. Of course I'm pro-silver. I want the price of silver to rise to where it should be, even if it's only to the 1980 highs." And this dude talks about the manipulation in 1980, but completely discounts the fact that there was another side to that operation. And that's the criminal banking side. And then doesn't even discuss the part of where, the Hunt brothers bought just about 110 million ounces in 1980, but JP Morgan bought over 1 billion ounces. Why doesn't he discuss that? Because he works for the banking cabal. There are two arms to the Perth Mint. One is the retail side. He should be just ecstatic that people are buying his product. He should be ecstatic that the price is going up because he makes more money. And for the Perth Mint, all the proceeds go to the state, the West Australia, whatever it's called. I guess there's an East and West Australia. Anyway, the insanity of this person who leads one of the largest retail sellers of silver not to want the price to go up, not to want anybody to buy silver, is just shocking at the core. Okay, here we go. I'm going to stop it as we go to comment.
They say all that glitters is not gold. And it's true. Silver is pretty shiny too. And it's caught the eye of some keyboard warriors who are using online forums to artificially drive up the price.
Well, first of all, they talk about the keyboard warriors the whole time. As if you're on a keyboard, you have no business being in the silver market. We're bringing in the Silver Knights, my friend. The Silver Knights, not the keyboard warriors. The keyboard warriors just means they're smarter than the guys who sit there with the metal and don't know what the hell they're doing, like this guy. Anyway, it irked me. It's the Silver Knights, not the keyboard warriors. You can replace every time they say, "Oh, these keyboard warriors." Those keyboard warriors are a hell of a lot smarter than this. By the way, he's being interviewed by a shill and who was told what to say and what to ask. But hell of a lot smarter than Richard Hayes, the CEO of the largest retail seller. Check this out.
If it sounds familiar, that's because it's a repeat of the tactic that saw Reddit users drive the share price of GameStop through the roof earlier this year. Perth Mint Chief Executive Richard Hayes joins me now to take us through this unfolding situation. Good morning, Richard.
G'day, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. So my understanding is this online campaign has promoted a so-called raid today. Can you explain what exactly is happening?
Well, the online campaign, the Keyboard Warriors, have been circulating a variety of information over the last couple of weeks that Perth Mint doesn't have silver. Perth Mint has run out of silver. Perth Mint doesn't have enough silver to sell to its customers, none of which is true.
First of all, let's stop there. It wasn't that Perth Mint didn't have enough customers to sell to silver to sell to its customers. Is that the Perth Mint was mobilizing already sold metal allocated in storage accounts. So the metal has already been sold, and they're balking on delivering is what's going on.
And we have more than enough silver for sale. We have plenty of silver here. Notwithstanding any of that, the Keyboard Warriors have continued, and not only with us, but with a number of our overseas competitors as well, have sought to try and create this artificial belief in the market that silver is in short supply, that the silver price is going to rally through the roof and it's going to go to $100 an ounce, or whatever they're saying at the moment. And one way to prove that the markets are desperately short of silver is to have raid day. Here in Australia, it's a raid on the Perth Mint, where presumably people will be calling us, queuing up at the gates, wanting to buy silver. And their hope is that we won't have it.
But you do, though. What are the stocks in the vaults looking like right now?
Absolutely. So we have 60 tons of silver in the form of 1,000-ounce good delivery bars. That's the industry standard.
60 tons of silver. 1.9 million ounces. The comic sneezes that every day. 60 tons of silver. They just told the market exactly how much silver they have in form of 1,000-ounce bars. Meaning, yeah, you can take a 1,000-ounce bar, but if you want the smaller pieces, you're going to have to wait. Check this out.
We have 60 tons of those. We're a major refiner of both gold and silver. We refine about 350 tons of gold and probably a similar amount of silver every year. And that comes through in regular tranches week on week on week. So as we sell it, there's more that comes through our refinery. We sell that, more comes through the refinery. And, being one of the largest metals businesses, certainly in this region, and certainly the largest in Australia, and a major player globally, we have more than adequate silver to fulfill whatever market demands are out there. The difference with the GameStop issue was that it was a relatively small stock with a limited number of available units. And it's fairly easy to corner something like that. If you get enough people to buy it, you can force the price up. Silver's a very, very deep market. There's billions of dollars worth of silver traded every day. And to try and corner the silver market is virtually impossible. The market is just too deep to do that. It hasn't stopped these guys.
Now, I would agree with him, but not because there's so much silver available. I would agree with him because silver's rigged in unlimited quantities on the COMEX. The silver price is determined solely, 100%, the only exchange in the world, on the COMEX. LBMA is not an exchange. It's an association. So I agree with him. There is unlimited amounts of silver derivatives to rig the price of silver. That does not mean there's not a huge, massive shortage in physical silver. He is panicking right now. He's basically saying, do not buy my product, the product that I sell. In what world do they say that? Don't buy my product. No, if you were selling cars, don't come and get a car. If you're selling anything, if you are your company, the whole purpose of your company is to sell silver and gold, you should be begging people to come on in. Come on in. The price is going up. I make more money. The Western Australia province or whatever makes more money. That's the idea. But he is saying exactly the opposite. He's begging you, don't listen to these keyboard warriors. Don't you dare come in. Don't you have a silver day. I hope, and I'm begging everybody in Australia, if you're going to have a silver raid day, don't do it right now. Do it in 2 or 3 weeks. In 2 or 3 weeks, when the COMEX deliveries start, that's when the real action should happen. Hold off. If you want to make some real change, then again, screw it. Go in there and get your metal. You shouldn't even be waiting for a silver. You should go in the day before so you make sure you get your silver. Anyway, let's go.
Guys trying, but thus far they've failed quite dismally. And in fact, even as we look at it this morning, the silver prices are down. In Aussie terms, the silver price went up quite significantly. And you were seeing silver, up at the sort of $35, $36 an ounce. Currently, that's down at $31 in US dollar terms. Silver went through $30 an ounce. It's now down at $24. So any hope that they had of squeezing the market to force the price up and up and up, on which they would obviously make profits, has failed dismally.
So do you think this is a reflection of the fact that to a casual investor, silver might seem like a bit of a niche market, but if you know anything about it, it is, as you say, a very deep market worth billions of dollars, and what you would need to do to move the needle much in either direction would be massive amounts of investment.
Absolutely. And if you want to corner the market in something, choosing silver is not the greatest idea. It has been tried before. In the early 1980s, there were two brothers in the States, Bunker Hunt brothers, who tried to do exactly the same thing. They had a better chance of doing it because without the 24-hour news cycle, without everybody having instant access to current global prices, they were able to move the silver price. But as the silver price ramped up, the markets caught up very, very quickly, and that raid of sort of 30 or 40 years ago failed.
Well, first of all, everybody, his history is absolutely wrong. The Hunt brothers raid did not fail because the market caught up. The fundamentals were saying silver price should be higher. What happened is the U.S. government came in and the COMEX came in and they shut down the ability to buy silver. Only cells can go in. That's why it ended. It didn't end because, people got smart. So his history is completely wrong here. Being the CEO of the largest retailers, one of the largest retailers of silver, this guy needs to be taught some real lessons.
The keyboard warriors are trying to do it again. It's all to make profits. It's all to create an artificial shortage, so the holdings that they've got will go up in price. They'll bleed that back into the market, make a lot of money off the back of others, and just
make a lot of money off the back of others. We've got 180 years of silver price manipulation where the bankers, the banksters, the people he reports to, have been making money off the back of others. When thousands, hundreds of thousands of people around the world, individual investors, go in to buy silver to break the back of the criminal banking cabal, that is a very, very, very good thing. That is not they're just trying to make money off the back of others. They're trying to change the system. They're trying to change the world. They're trying to take you and your criminal buddies out of control of the price of silver.
Disappear back into the fabric of the internet.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to happen. Just out of curiosity, how much is a 1,000-ounce ingot of silver if I was to go to the Perth Mint today and slap some money down on the counter?
So 1,000 ounces of silver at the current silver price. Just having a quick look at my screen, $24. It's $24 an ounce. So a 1,000-ounce bar would be 1,000 times that.
Oh yeah, so 24,000. So that's a bit of money. And now you obviously hear about.
Okay, everybody with $24,000, go to the Perth Mint, slap some money down on the table. As this guy asked, how much is it? How much is it? A 1,000-ounce bar. If I slap some money on the table, you're going to walk away with a 1,000-ounce bar. Otherwise, Richard Hayes, the CEO of the Perth Mint, is lying. He is lying. Jeff Curry, you little bastard, you just heard him say, you can take all your, what you have to deliver, 15 million ounces last delivery month. You're going to have to probably deliver 15 million more this time. You can go slap some money on the table, $24,000 at the Perth Mint, and they're going to give you a bar right there, according to their CEO. That's what he just said.
About gold as a safe haven in troubled times. Does that go for silver too, or like who is buying silver?
Silver's more of an industrial metal. Gold, the role of gold in society is very much as that haven of last resort. When everything goes bad in the economy, your gold holdings are always going to be worth something, and the worse the economy gets, the higher the price of gold tends to run. Silver is more of an industrial metal. It has a lot of industrial uses. It's also much more plentiful than gold, which is reflected in the price. So whilst investors certainly do buy silver, of that there's no doubt, its role in society is different to that of gold.
Yeah, right.
Its role in society. The only reason that silver was demonetized as a monetary metal, which it hasn't really. Silver has played more of a role in the history of money than gold is by far. Almost every country in the world had a silver standard at some time. It was the bankers, it was the people this guy, Richard Hayes, works for, that demonetized silver starting in the 1850s. They controlled the price of silver in the Opium Wars. That was the whole idea behind the Opium Wars, and it continues to today. So no, silver should not necessarily be the monetary side of silver should not be anything less than the monetary side of gold. As a matter of fact, because of the industrial, like you said, most of it's used in industrials. That means silver's massively less available than they're saying. Keith Neumeyer said, hey, it's coming out of the ground at 8-1. Well, 6 of that 8 is going to the industrial side. So it's maybe 2-1. Maybe. Yes, the silver-gold ratio is at 70-1, or right around there. This guy should know this stuff. And he probably does, but he is paid by the banking cabal to say what he's saying. He is paid to diss his own product. He's a salesman of silver who's saying, don't you dare buy silver. It is insane. This is just proof positive that there's a massive problem at the Perth Mint and around the world.
And so when you say it's industrial, so people might be buying it to actually use it to make jewelry or something like that.
Yeah, jewelry. There's a lot of silver that goes into the medical field as well. Photography used to obviously be a big consumer of silver, but with the advent of digital cameras 30 years ago, There's no silver used in the photographic industry anymore.
By the way, with the photographic industry, the vast majority of the silver that was used in photographs was recycled. So it wasn't a consumer of huge amounts of silver. It was a consumer, but it was all recycled. Not all of it, but big chunks of it. And silver is absolutely still used in the production of photography. Where? Computers? Cell phones? What are our cameras today? Where do we take pictures today? Is silver not used in electronics? Why doesn't he talk about electronics? Why doesn't he talk about solar? Solar is a monster user of silver. Batteries, monster user of silver. It's like this guy either doesn't know what his product, the value of his own product that he's a salesman for, or he was purposely told by the banking cabal or whoever he reports to come in and try to calm the silver nerves, because they are out of silver. He can lie all he wants, but they are out of silver.
But it is heavily used in the medical industry. Obviously, jewelry as well soaks up a lot of silver. But silver is relatively plentiful, which is why it's $24 an ounce.
It's $24 an ounce because of the rigging on the COMEX. Just the other day, they dumped a billion ounces of silver on the market. He just told everybody he had 1.9 million in inventory, and one day on the COMEX, they dump $1 billion on the market. 1 billion ounces of electronic silver.
Versus gold, which is $1,680, $1,690 an ounce.
Yeah, so it makes it even less likely that you're really going to drive up the price for something so readily available. But this
well, absolutely.
This whole idea of an online raid being driven by users on, like a social media platform like Reddit, it seems to be the new reality that we're living in. Is it something you ever expected to be dealing with at the Mint?
Interestingly, Ben, I've dealt with 3 of these previously. I've been in precious metals for 25 odd years now. This is the 3rd silver squeeze that I've seen with keyboard warriors behind the scenes. I saw it in the early 2000s. There was a big run. In 2011, 2012, we had exactly the same thing. And what's playing out now is exactly what's played out in the last 2 that I've lived through. So, not surprised.
Okay. The first one I was involved in, I admit it, I was there. What happened? The Perth Mint had to stop all its unallocated con that it was selling. They stopped it. They shut down the program because of the people bitching and moaning that the Perth Mint was rigging the markets with basically naked shorts, which they're trying to do right now. The second one, that was JP Morgan rigging the market. I said it at the time, and it was finally proven. The DOJ fined them $980 million for rigging the market. This guy doesn't even know his own industry.
And we'll have more of these, I suspect, in the future. As the world goes more and more and more digital, as there are people looking for increasingly innovative ways to make money, these are all very nice thoughts, and I have no doubt that there'll be more of these as we move into the future, not just with silver, but with other commodities. If you look at oil, if you look at some of the other commodities, especially with food, certainly with stocks and shares, you see it on a fairly regular basis, where you get short sellers, or you get those who buy stocks and then try and force the price of those up for their own purposes. This is all about making short-term profits.
Yeah, it's a fascinating and really bizarre world, I think, to a lot of people who only pay casual attention to shares in the stock market. What else is happening at the Mint that we need to know about?
So we're very busy, obviously. It's good times for the gold industry here in Western Australia. Probably 75 to 80% of all the gold mined in Australia is mined here in the West, and we're very fortunate that the vast majority of Australian mining companies entrust their refining to the Perth Mint. So we are very busy refining gold and then supplying that into international markets. We have customers in about 130 countries across the world. We're Western Australia's third largest exporter. We're Australia's seventh largest manufacturer by value. And we do contribute significantly to the state. Our owner is the state government. And we contribute significantly to state government revenues.
That's fantastic. I love a WA success story. Perth.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We contribute massive amounts to the government. What a success story the Perth Mint is. If the price of silver was allowed to be freely traded, they'd make 10 times the amount of money and could give 10 times the amount of money to the government. You see at the end where he's like, "Oh, gold is great. Yeah, we're busy doing gold. We're not doing anything with silver. Silver is the one that's in shortage. Gold is massive amounts of gold." I hope everybody understands that. So basically, what did I get from that interview? Number one, the Perth Mint is out of silver. Number two, the CEO of the Perth Mint does not want you to buy silver. Says anything and everything to denigrate silver. Never have the CEO talk your book. It's embarrassing. Number three, the Perth Mint only has 1.9 million ounces available for sale. I'll make a call today and that'll be gone. Number four, the Perth Mint claims you can get as many 1,000-ounce bars as you want by putting $24,000, slap it on the table, and you can get it. So says Richard Hayes of the Perth Mint. Jeff Curry, you better hurry up before this video gets posted to get your ass down there and slap down $24 million or $24 billion to get all the silver to cover all your shorts, my friend. Shocking. The Perth Mint does not want you to buy silver. Classic. Perth Mint is the second dumbest place in the world besides the CFTC. All right, I have posted on the public road the Jenny Moonstone interview I did for the private road members a month or two ago when she talks about the old silver rigging tools will fail and the silver moonshot. Now, Jenny and I have been talking for, 6 months or so about silver, about cryptos, about theta. She doesn't like most cryptos, and I don't either, truthfully. With the people behind the scenes I know involved, that's deep state shit, and I don't want to get near it, but there are some good ones. But check out what she said about the silver rigging tools. Now, Jenny is no financial expert. She's really smart, and she's figured a lot out, but she is an expert in the spiritual side of silver. And absolutely, there is a spiritual side of silver. And this guy, Richard Hayes, is clearly on the other side of the spiritual side. But Jenny talks about, literally, she's been saying April for a long time now for silver. Because I've been saying, oh, come on, when's silver going to go? No. Everything's going to start in April. End of April, into May. We are approaching that time. And May is the delivery month. The mother of all delivery months, if you ask me. And the Perth Mint's got to supply all their 1.9 million ounces. That would be a tiny, tiny, tiny blip of what is needed. Last month, it was, the month that's just ending today, 57.9, I think, million ounces were delivered. Second or third largest ever. This coming May, we will see the largest. It'll be up over 85 million. Because people need it. And keep an eye on what goes on at SLV inventories. SLV is bleeding silver. Bleeding silver. Go to road2road.com. Check out the interview with Jenny. This is from the private road. She talks about the silver rigging tools failing. If you're on the private road, go to the Jenny Moonstone page. You go to road2road.com. There's a Jenny Moonstone page. All kinds of great interviews about silver, about gold. She is absolutely in tune. This is her silver knuckles. She got silver brass knuckles. Well, they're not brass knuckles. They're silver knuckles. But really good discussions about silver, the Silver Knights. She is armed and ready. I am armed and ready. These are the keyboard army or whatever this idiot Richard Hayes calls all these people on keyboards actually have brains to analyze what's going on in silver. I'm sorry, Richard Hayes. It's the wrong people you're talking to. You're not talking to your idiot buddies down at the mine. They're not idiots. It's the CEOs are the idiots of the mining company. the CEOs who refuse to support their own product, for Christ's sake. The Perth Mint sells silver. He should be saying, this is the greatest thing in the world. Silver price is finally going to be set free and we can sell massive amounts of silver and give those proceeds to the Western Australian government to feed the poor. And the mines will do well and we will prosper because we're a huge mining country. But no, Richard Hayes does not like the Australian people. He hates them. He despises them. He loves guys like Jeff Curry, like Jeff Christian, the banking cabal. Richard Hayes should be thrown out. Don't do a silver raid on the Perth Mint. Do a raid on getting Richard Hayes out of where he is. He should not be the CEO of one of the largest retailers of silver because he doesn't like his own product. Insane. Anyway, another day on the road to Ruta. I will be talking to Bitcoin Ben at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern time, today, Wednesday the 30th. And we're going to talk about silver. So tune into that, and we're going to talk about cryptos and freedom, and I love Bitcoin Ben, and we haven't talked in a while, so I'm looking forward to that. If you want to join the private road to Ruta, hit subscribe today. It's $2.99 for a year, which is less than $1 a day. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you guys later.